I was asked to write or talk about paranoia and how it applies to avoidant personality disorder. There is a completely separate condition called paranoid personality disorder. It's usually paired with avoidant personality disorder, but completely separate. Um, Paranoid personality disorder is basically an all-encompassing um, paranoia, long-term paranoia, um, in all cases, and an incapability to escape from being paranoid. And because of that, it leads to massive mistrust of people. Um, so you can see why it would sort of be along the lines of um, avoidant personality disorder, because it tends to leave people very isolated because they can't trust anybody because they're very sure that somebody has ulterior motives. Um, that is in opposition to avoidant personality disorder, because with the avoidance, it's based primarily in it's sort of more internally based. Um, I mean, the paranoid personality disorder person is completely over the top, totally unjustified, their paranoia, um, but it is externally based. They don't trust other people. Avoidant personality disorder is very, very internal, where you don't believe that you are worthy, and therefore you don't trust anybody who is nice or who seems to like you, and you think that there's something going on there. Like, why? Why would somebody want to have something to do with me? Because that's just unnatural. That's just wrong. That somebody would want to have anything to do with somebody else. So as far as like where that paranoia originates from, that's the big difference. As far as being paranoid as an avoidant person, again, it's really hard to pull that apart. I can recognize when I'm being paranoid, when I'm being super suspicious of somebody, when I am being excessively mistrustful. That sort of does make sense to me. Sorry, I thought it wasn't recording. Anyway, I can recognize when I'm being paranoid, sort of. And the thing is that it's completely justifiable to me, um, because it does not make sense that somebody would like me and that somebody would want to be with me. That's just wrong. That's unnatural. That's, that clearly there's something wrong with somebody that would want to have anything to do with me. That's just the way the world works, because nobody that is together or with it at all would want to have anything to do with me. So if somebody is trying to be nice to me or trying to get to know me or something like that, yeah, I'm always thinking there's something going on behind. They must think they want to get something from me. I'm an easy target, something like that. That there's something underneath it, because people can't just like me. Not like any normal person on the planet. That's impossible. That's just wrong. That's like I said, it's unnatural. That's just not the way the world works. And that's what that paranoia is based in. Now, if you have true paranoia that's not avoidant paranoia or paranoid personality disorder, what that is it's suspicion, sort of. This is going to seem really harsh because I'm not paranoid, and it's sort of like when people talk about avoidant personality disorder and they don't have it, and they're coming from outside, and they sort of say things that seem really insensitive, and I'm trying not to say that, but it seems unjustified. Like there's no way to say this is the reason why. And I understand that the reason for avoidant people, for myself, to be paranoid about the reason why somebody would get sick. I understand that that's basically, God, this is hard to say because I'm sort of letting myself off the hook, and I hate to do that. But there's no basis in that, you know, because, okay, let me sort of come around the back way so that I can tolerate it. Because somebody doesn't know me, so if they don't know me at all, then they don't realize the weirdness about me. So they might just think I'm normal, and that's why they'd want to get to know me. But the paranoia is that there's some sort of devious reason they're trying to get over on me, and that's why they're trying to get in touch with me. And so there feels like there's a reason for that. With my understanding of paranoid, like true paranoia that's not avoidant paranoia, is that they're just paranoid about everything. And they can't pin a reason for it. They're just mistrustful of everybody. And I'm not saying that that's not completely debilitating, because it seems in a way kind of even worse than avoidant personality disorder, because they can have a healthy self-esteem. They can have an exaggerated self-esteem where they think that they're sort of more clued in to the entire world and how it works, and that's how they can understand that they need to be wary of other people. So I think I'm starting to get repetitive, which of course I'm always repetitive. To say anything else about this, I would just say to try to be aware if you're being excessively paranoid about anything. Because that's just another thing that will get in your way with interacting with people. And if you can understand where these thoughts are coming from, in a nutshell, that's really important in every aspect. If you're an avoidant person, is to really not take these thoughts and just accept them and say, okay, this is it, but to really look at where you're coming from, where they're originating. You know, are these original thoughts, or is this something that you heard growing up and it might be completely bogus? Is this a genuine thought where you can say, okay, this person is acting strange and that's why I feel nervous around them? Or is it just the avoidance? Because if it's the avoidance, it's not true. And then you can sort of break that down and maybe be able to interact with people better. If it's something that was said by somebody else and you sort of internalized it, again, maybe break that down and say, okay, you know what, that's what that person said and I don't believe it. And you know, so you really do have to sort of take that extra step. It's sort of like make an analogy that doesn't quite work. It's like if you're translating everything to a different language, you know, not your language of origin, but another language, to really look at it and say, okay, now translate this. The same thing with any sort of thoughts that you have about, you know, why is this person wanting to interact with me? And especially if you come up with a reason why. Yeah, unless they've said outright, okay, I want to hire you, and that's why I want you to be around, because I want you to do this job. Or, you know, whatever it is, I'm really interested in this job that you're doing, or this work that you're doing, or I'm really interested in the clothes that you're wearing, or whatever the heck it is. Unless they come right out and say that to you, then you don't know for sure what exactly is going through their minds. And of course the avoidance will make up a story for you, make up a great story. You'll know exactly, you know, everything from the last 100 years about this person and what their motivations are and everything else, and if they're safe and if they're not, and, you know, if they're trying to come out and come after you or whatever. Pay attention to that, because the avoidance will play tricks on you. and will make you come up with things that seem and feel really correct and make you feel kind of safe because you're going to basically have an excuse for getting rid of them again. And it's self-protective, or what it feels like, but it's also keeping you from interacting with people. So really pay attention to where these thoughts come up, because you could be dead on. It could be that this person is really acting very sketchy or something like that, in which case, you know what? Yeah, it's very smart for you to back off away from them and give them some space and not talk to them and get away from them. That makes sense if there's a reason that you can pinpoint. This is an actual, real reason. This person is acting strange, you know, their eyes are dilated or whatever, or, you know, first you saw them trying to shake down another person and then they came to you. Okay, yeah, that would make sense. But if it's just a person that smiles at you for whatever reason, I mean, yes, your avoidance is going to say, I'm a freak, or whatever. It's going to say some terrible, nasty thing, like I'm being targeted and they're laughing at me, or whatever. It could just be that they're nice. So look at where these thoughts come from, if they are genuine, if you can find actual proof in the real world for backing up what you're talking about. If they've actually said something to you, believe what people say. Take it with a grain of salt, but believe what people say. If people say, I'm interested in you, then maybe you need to find out why, but there's a reason why they're talking to you. And also, again, if it's a sort of a script that you've heard 96 times and you've applied it to this person, you've applied it to that person, you've applied it to this person, and then there's another new person comes in and it's the same old thing, then it might just be habit. It might not be actual based in reality. And also, again, if it's something that you know for sure, you were told this type of person is weird and you shouldn't interact with them, that might not be true. That might just be something that was said to you and you've just internalized it. It's not true. So that's what I would do. Just be really aware and try pay attention and find out if you're being paranoid, because that's okay. And it is a self-protective thing, and it's okay to be paranoid, but sometimes it really can limit you. So if it's limiting you and you don't like it, then, you know, do something different. And you can choose to do that if you pay attention. But this is the point with basically all avoidance and every thought that comes into your head, is you really have to look at it and pick it apart and say, is this an original thought? Did I come up with this, or was it told to me and I'm just repeating it? And also, are there facts to back up what I'm talking about, or is it just this thought that comes into my head? You know, because you are trying to be safe for yourself when you're coming up with these avoidant thoughts. You're trying to take care of yourself. But in the process of taking care of yourself, you're also limiting yourself. And it is a fine line. You know, do you want to interact with people, or do you want to, because it's completely fine to say, yeah, today, nope, I'm staying in the house and I'm not leaving, and that is it. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm not going to look at anybody. That is okay until you've done it 100 days in a row and you're going out of your mind, in which case, then it's habit, and you can break it if you choose to.